5 years ago, when I gave birth to Tana, I said that if I get to 35 and I've not had another baby, I'm
done.
going to tie my tubes. We are now here at 35.
Are you going to?
I don't
Isn't
know.
that a family decision?
No. Are the family the ones who carry the baby? What do you mean? They are a family decision.
Family. Marriage works. Marriage works.
Hi guys, Murugi Muni here.
It's Lydia KM.
And we're back again with another episode of
The Messy in Between.
It's Definitely TMI.
And then the editing is gonna put happy birthday to
you.
or like
still
a scene, or like something
yeah,
for
that
happy
won't
birthday.
Get us banned or something. So great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
The
dance
birthday
along.
episode. Happy birthday, Lid.
Happy birthday, Jojo!
How exciting!
So exciting!
I'm so excited.
This is our birthday episode. In case all of that
Yeah.
did not
Cue you.
cue you to
Yeah.
understand what is happening. But first of all, karibuni sana. Hi, please, in between us. Thank you so much for being here for yet another episode of our birthdays. This is our
Yeah, this is our I think it's our fourth.
Our fourth birthday with TMI.
Lydia,
You're getting old.
Shit.
You're gay.
Actually, I remember
Stop.
the episode we did where it's like, oh, I'm turning 30. You're like, I'm turning 30. And you know, nothing happens when you turn 30. You're just 30. I remember her saying that.
No. My first birthday was 31.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure?
100%.
It
Because
was
you said
2023.
Exactly.
2023. I was turning 33. So you must have been turning 32. So it was 2022.
2022.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've been doing this podcast in our 30s.
Yeah.
We've
this
been,
has
yeah,
our
you've
30s.
only
this
known
is
us
over
here.
30. Over
Over
30.
30. This is over 30.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now
We're growing so much.
Oh
And
my
actually, funny
God.
enough, there's an element about TMI that I love so much because of that growth. It's like you see a timestamp of like your thoughts, your views, who you are, what's changing,
Yes.
what was happening in your life, especially for me, because so much has changed for me. It's
Right.
like I actually think of the person who like starts TMI. So they go on the roller coaster, especially with my relationship.
That person goes. Hey.
Yeah, but it's like it's a life, you know. And I love that kind of
Yeah.
being able to see your own growth.
Yeah.
something,
I feel like my life doesn't change like that much. Maybe it's
Yeah.
like where I see
Growth.
different growth is like in terms of like now the dynamics in like, let's say your marriage, like you're
Yeah.
still married, but like now the dynamics are different.
Different,
Yeah.
yeah.
And even when I go and watch previous episodes, like, or like episodes from the beginning, you can see like differences in how you express yourself,
Yeah.
in your thoughts, in your views.
So
like
much.
beginning of TMI, I was not even in therapy.
Yeah.
I wasn't even
Oh my God.
a therapy person.
You are not therapy, Joe.
Bloody hell.
Crazy.
Yeah, so much
Yeah,
has changed,
we
guys.
love
But
that.
yeah, one thing which has not changed is you still love us and you're now subscribed. That's one thing. Before you were not subscribed, now you're subscribed.
always.
And we really appreciate
Especially
that.
for our birthday.
Just say happy birthday to us by subscribing. And if you don't, then we're just very sad. But please
So
just
sad.
make us happy, please, and subscribe. You can also follow us on our social media handles, TMI Podcast KE, everywhere, basically. Our
Yeah.
social media manager gives you guys such fantastic content out there.
Yeah,
We just
on
love
her
her.
Zoom,
She's on her Zoom, honestly. Yeah. So how do we feel about turning? We are now, the best thing about these ages we are turning is we are both going to be in our mid 30s now. Because you know, before Lydia was in early 30s, I was in mid 30s. Now we are both in mid 30s.
I don't even ever think about it that way.
Me,
you
I
know?
do.
You do that. Even
Early
when people are saying
30s, yeah, early 30s
even
is
like
31,
mid
32,
20s,
33,
I
yeah.
don't even think about
31,
it that
32, 33,
way. Early,
34, 35, 36,
mid,
37, 38, 39,
Late.
late.
then 40.
Yeah.
It's gonna come like that. It's
Yeah,
gonna come
I
like
know, but
that.
as your mom says, the opposite of aging, is it your mom who says that?
yeah,
The opposite of
it's either
aging
you
is
age or you
dying.
die.
So, yeah.
You decide.
Yeah, exactly.
You decide. Yeah. I've never had hang-ups about like the growing old aspect because I'm just like, what am I supposed to be doing? This is literally how life is supposed to be. I'm supposed to be getting older.
Yeah.
It's only always about a matter of like, how do I feel about myself? Like, so that's really it. That's what's gonna make me feel like, oh no, like, you know, I don't know myself. I'm not where I want. Those kind of things are going to bring anxiety.
Yeah.
But as long as I'm feeling solid in myself, I feel like growing old is such a good thing. And when I look back at the things I'm worrying about or like I'm struggling with, and as I get older, they get better. what the hell am I doing in that hood?
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're so
I'm
right.
out. Yeah. So for my birthday, what I'm feeling now for turning 34 is I really loved 33.
You had a
I
banger
loved my
33.
Jesus, yeah, and I don't want to
Oh my God, yeah, that was that feels like yesterday that you were saying that. Oh my God.
Yeah,
I'm gonna hold your
33.
hand.
My
Yeah.
Jesus year was just
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Ain't God good?
Yeah, ain't
Yeah.
God
So it's like
good.
I feel so attached to that age.
Yeah,
Like
so true.
I'm sad about
I'm
that.
really sorry, but guess what?
Thank
34 is
you.
going to be better. Maybe, who knows? Could even be worse.
Yeah.
But you know what I feel? I'm excited for 35.
Yeah,
It's just that
why?
every time I say it out loud, it just sounds so much. Like in my head, I cannot believe that when I met Zach, he was 33 and I was 25. No, I was 26. Actually, I was 25 when I met him. I can't believe it. That just feels like 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, insane.
And also
now,
at the same time, also feels like 20 years ago. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah,
It's like yesterday,
no,
but also
time has
a
passed.
long time
I
ago.
feel like it's a long time ago. Like I feel like
Yeah.
time feels like that. Like I was 30 only 4 years ago.
Only.
No, but that I have lived too much in 4 years. It's all here. Too much.
I know. It
Yeah.
actually feels like that. I feel like there's such a blessing when I think of like when I look at where I am and I think about like, oh, would I have imagined I would be here at 35? And my immediate thought is like I wouldn't even have been able to imagine how amazing my life would be because I genuinely love my life. So I feel like that, just so you're saying, it's like it depends on what your relationship is with yourself right now. I imagine I would be feeling different if I didn't like my life.
Oh my.
And if I was in a place of just like, oh wait, what? No, I can't believe I'm here. No,
happiness or tragedy or like even things beyond like your own choices.
Own control, right?
Like you're right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And not to say that I feel like my life is perfect, because there's definitely things that I feel like I'm still working on. Actually, the other day I had a session with the life coach, and woo!
By the way, you didn't tell me about that. How was it? You're in the ghetto.
It's not really ghetto. It's just that it was just so eye-opening in a way that I have never like thought about before. I feel like maybe when you do therapy, especially with one person for a long time, maybe like now when you speak to someone else with the depth that you've spoken to your therapist, they kind of like unearth or see things in a different way based
and a
off
life
of their
coach
own perspective.
Is more telling you. Like a
Exactly.
coach is different than a therapist.
Yeah, that's in fact at the beginning of the session I told her I really don't know about this life coach business, because I'm just like, first of all, so many people just say they're life coach. They wake up and they're like, I'm a life coach, So I feel like sometimes I don't trust it. I was like, what's the difference? She truly explained to me the difference, and I can tell you I felt a difference.
Yeah.
So yeah,
sometimes I feel like it's a life coach in some moments you need.
Yes.
But what I do, like yesterday at therapy session, I told my therapist I want a more direct approach. Because therapy is more about like helping you.
It's like holding a mirror to yourself. So what do you see?
But sometimes I really want you're being dumb.
Exactly.
You're being daft. Soy out. Think. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that was kind of like what the session was like. And she was like a bit more open. So you see how with therapy, you hardly will ever like get into like your therapist's life experience.
Yeah.
And how, so this one, it's like a bit different because they really also give you part of their own perspective. I felt like she also spoke like a lot more.
Yeah.
My therapist is like more of like asking questions.
Which is how it should be.
Yeah.
In
and
therapy.
Then now you get to it yourself like, oh, am I actually self-sabotage? It's like, why do you think that?
Yeah.
This one is more like, do you see how you're... Yeah, so that was interesting. And so from that session, one thing I got is that I can see the growth in my journey, but I can still see that there's room for me to keep improving. But that kind of makes me more excited about the journey, because it's like, I mean, everything in life, it's always like improvement. So yeah, that's a positive thing, I guess.
No, that is...
Yeah. There was lots of stuff to do with money, stuff to do with like anxiety. She was like, do you struggle with anxiety? I was like, no, I don't think I've ever struggled with anxiety. She's like, because some of the things you're saying, those are signs that you may struggle with anxiety, but anxiety doesn't always look like, oh, I'm having a panic attack, or like, oh, I'm feeling so anxious. Sometimes it's like you rush out of situations that require you to be a certain version of yourself that you don't want to be. Or,
and I know you do that.
Exactly. Like, I don't want. Why do you have to sit in the awkwardness? Give me the check. I'll pay. Don't worry.
Oh, right.
Or like overspending or overcompensating with your kids because of what you want from your parents, or like just a whole host
She sounds awful. Leave.
I didn't like her. I was
Dump
like,
him.
dump her, right? I I was like, don't make me log off this call right now, honey.
Yeah.
Don't make me.
Yeah.
But anyway, it really it showed me like a few things which I probably will also explore with my therapist. But yeah, I like that at 35 it's like you're able to be like, I can see how, you know, X and Y and Z, and I can see why my trauma is making me think that or behave that way without it being like, oh my God, I'm broken. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Seeing that gap between where you are and where you want to be, and seeing it as just that, a gap that can be closed, as opposed to a never-ending deep hole that is always going to exist. Yeah, there's something about that, and that's what come to your 30s.
Exactly.
I actually feel like the those little bits are just kind of like what makes life exciting. Those things that are there to add. It's like, okay, how is this going to go? How is this journey going to go? Like for me now, in like the open journey for me, big time is like as far as my love life and family and whatever is going to come from that journey in my life. That's like what is it going to be? Because if you make it, this is a deep hole. It's gonna be a deep hole, and there's always something. There's always something. We are going through therapy for how many years now? And there's always something.
And then because life situations are constantly happening, it's new things to deal with all the time. Like last year when you lost your guka, you had never lost a guka. So you see, you would never have known like, how am I going to be? How will grief impact me? How will I work through this and whatever? How will that loss impact how you know your relationships? Like things are just always happening. When you have a child, when you get in a relationship, when you, I don't know, lose your edges, like everything. Or when you grow back your edges, it's like how am I now? It's always And this book that I just finished reading, the 5-second rule, it talked about how in different seasons of your life and your career, it always requires a different you. So even like when it's tiring but exciting, because there's no place you'll ever reach and be like, now this is it. This is how it is until you die. I mean, unless someone chooses a really like basic mundane life, which I guess maybe even for them, because like every day is different.
It's either you're
every
growing or you're dying, because we are kind of always being asked to evolve as human beings. Even the way we operate, the way we think, the way we see things, our desire for creation, it really requires us to evolve. So and that's why stagnation to almost everyone, most people feels like stuck.
Right.
Because lack of movement, like being just nothing is happening. The discomfort
can be really bad. Exactly. Yeah. I feel like I can't even see any year in my life in the past 5, 10, 15 years that I've felt like, I'm at the exact same place that I was
I don't think so.
You know, right? And it's like maybe in one aspect of your life, like, okay, I was a content creator 5 years ago, I'm a content creator now, but that was a different content creator.
And you're even the same,
I'm a different content creator. That's it. There's so many changes, so many different things. When I look at my family and where we are now, I'm like, so 5 years ago, when I gave birth to Tana, I said that if I get to 35 and I've not had another baby, I'm going to tie my tubes. We are now here at 35.
Are you going to?
I don't
Isn't that a family decision?
No. Are the family the ones who carry the baby? What do you mean? They are a family decision.
Family. Marriage works. Marriage works.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like I want to, because you know what the reality is, the more I do want to, because bearing the weight and the consequences and the impact of contraception, the older I get, the more I feel that impact, the more I feel those consequences, the more I feel like, why am I month after month having such heavy periods? You know, my periods last 7 days.
You told me.
And they are really uncomfortable. Like right now, my period, I could kill somebody. I could kill. And I'm like, you see, this is optional. I am choosing this. This is not like something which is like, I can choose the same way, you know, men choose, I don't want to have a vasectomy because it's not impacting them. Like pregnancy didn't impact them. Contraception is not really impacting them, kind of things. Like, why am I choosing this for myself on a, maybe kind of thing? Do you know what I mean? So over time, I feel like the balance of like, do I maybe want to have a child versus what I'm choosing year on year is heavy, painful periods that not even 4 weeks, every 3.5 weeks are attacking me. I'm like, is that really what I want for myself?
I definitely get why you are at this, because it's a permanent decision. That's like a full stop for your family, you know? And obviously being that it's like even though it's your body, obviously, like that decision is like, that's it. There's never going to be another version of me and
that has
little
4
Zach
kids
or whatever.
Why are you saying that?
I'm fighting for you, Zaki.
Oh my God.
Zaki, yes. Yeah, but it's true. It's like that.
There's
not going to be another one. Like that's a very permanent decision.
Final.
And I understand that kind of what you're having to go through, but I also see why you are deciding.
Yeah.
It's that's too permanent.
Exactly.
It is.
And I feel like the older I get, the more I'm super conscious of anything that I put in my body or anything that's just in my
It's
body.
the 30s, baby.
It is.
Everything.
Like
Sugar,
now,
what?
anything. I'm just like looking at it. I'm like, is this
Yeah.
really, is this what I want? Like even, it's not even from a weight perspective or even being a whatever. It's just comfort. And it's also just being a woman. So many things in your body are always happening. Hormones. And if it's not hormones, then there's this extra, even the weather, as you're saying now, you're like, look, the weather is causing a physical change in your body. Why?
I was just here chilling.
Literally, any tiny thing, like even putting lip gloss, like, I don't know. I'm just so conscious these days,
I hear you. I hear you, sweetheart.
Yeah. So now I'm still just at that juncture, but I want to wait until I feel like certain, because the worst thing is regretting afterwards. But will I ever feel certain?
No, I feel like the regret, usually for me, the regret is like, what if? Like the not doing is what irks me.
Right, yeah.
Regret, no. Yeah.
So the alternative is, because I put the contraception when Tana was born, and that's 5 years ago. So these things usually, I think it's a 10-year thing.
Yeah, mine is 10.
Right. So I have 5 years to go. So I could just let it just like live out its term.
Yeah, you could.
But at what cost? You know what I mean?
Is the cost that big than the shit it's done?
Oh my God.
But knowing your personality though, or just kind of how generally we tend to work, is it's done.
Exactly.
We'll just face
and
our
now
front. We'll face our front and we'll be done.
That's exactly.
It's rare we ponder on something that's already
just
been
like,
done.
in fact, sometimes when someone DMs me and just like, about a decision they've made, whatever, me, I'm always like, I don't know where that comes from.
So confused.
Because
I've
I'm
done
here.
it,
now what can we do? We have done.
It's done. In fact, the dilly-dallying before is what is like agonizing to me. But the
now,
it.
Yeah,
we face our
now
front.
we face our front and we keep going. So that's one of the things as I enter 35 that's really on my mind.
Okay.
What's something that's on your mind as you enter 34?
The grieving of my 33. That's the really peak. What's on my mind? I have been feeling like I'm going through an existential crisis. I have been very much questioning like what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and these it's kind of
in terms of career,
in terms of everything in my life. That's why it's existential,
right? Okay.
It's and it's something that happens like every so often when you have when you get into a rhythm. Right now you're just dancing the rhythm. Yeah, you're just in it, like this. So then now you start kind of asking for more, like more grafting, more figuring it out. And my therapist does believe, because I identify so much as a problem solver, I may be seeking problems to solve. In the comfort of
she said it, so we didn't have to.
In the comfort of you got to figure out things are good. My career feels great. I'm on beat. It's like how can we remix this a little bit? So I'm trying not to make any crazy decisions.
Please.
In the hunger for a remix. So there's that. Like I just feel like I am questioning a lot. But I had a conversation with a personal branding coach, and she was going through all of these steps of like personal branding, like step 1, 2, 3, or whatever. And I figured most of those out. I know what it is. I know what my purpose is. All of that. So now she's helping me with step 4, which is and she said that purpose is figuring out what is that je ne sais quoi about you. What is that je ne sais quoi? And then completely milking it in service of others, right? So now her job is to kind of look at me, my skills, what I've been able to do, my education, blah, 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 and then how we milk as much of that as possible in service of others. So it's just a way of like elevating. So
why in service of others? Why not in pursuit of your own happiness or in pursuit of financial
I don't
stability?
know. We're doing my coaching call. It's going to be like 2 hours or so. Like that's like a sit down. So it's like there will be more as far as why that is what works. But almost most of the people who teach always say like everything that people do that is great tends to be in like a solution to a problem of the
Other
people.
right.
Exactly. So that's what it's in service of, not like in service doing nothing and not getting money. Like it's not
Okay.
a selfless
Right.
service.
Okay, yeah.
It's a service in terms of like how you add value to like, you know, the collective. So yeah, anyway, I'll tell you guys how that goes, by the way. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
So it's now trying to see like what else can I do as far as elevating, instead of being like leave your entire life and just start anew just for the sake of that hunger for like growth. I don't want to do that. So yeah, I do feel like that's something I'm like I feel a bit not at ease
Right. Not
about
at
for
ease.
sure. I'm trying to figure out a lot of it, but also I'm not in discomfort. I am on beat doing what I do and
Right,
doing it
yeah.
right and doing it well.
Yeah.
And I know how to do it.
And you know what I
Yeah.
find interesting, because I feel like I also have that personality trait of like, even when I'm like my life is in a good rhythm, it's like now when it's a good rhythm, I'm just like, am I too comfortable? Do I need to be doing
Work
more?
harder.
Are you going to
Go
whatever?
more.
Yeah,
Are you
exactly.
growing?
Are you? That's the thing. You know, are you making the most out of this? Would other people, whatever? Like you're just resting. What is the next frontier?
toxic.
And yeah, it actually is toxic. And one of the things my life coach talked about is like, I've just heard you mention at ease. She's like, so would anyone describe you as living a life of ease? And I told her categorically, I can tell you, no one who has ever met me or heard me or seen my life would describe it. And yet my life has elements that ideally should
Relaxed.
because you have money, you don't have an 8 to 5. Like, why are you not living a life of ease? Because you're chasing more money, and the money that you want so you can get the life of ease, you're sacrificing the life of ease to go for that money. So
yeah, no, there's time to unpack. Funny enough, so I
Lots.
got into a bit of a car accident. Now you're seeing this on the 26th. This is when it's premiering anyway, 26th of Feb. But that was like
3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago,
Oh,
2
so,
weeks
yeah.
ago. Anyway, and this is how I want to tell you that you're not normal, Mokami. Okay. And if this is you tell you you're not. I get into the car accident, and the first thing I said, and I said it out loud, I was like, oh no, my day is ruined. And what did I mean by that? My schedule is not going to run the way I
But
want.
that's exactly what I would think. I would just be like, what an inconvenience.
What a fucking inconvenience.
Not, oh my God, thank you, God.
Not even like, are you bleeding? Not, are you bleeding? Not, is the other person inside the car hurt?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. The schedule has been messed up.
Yeah.
So now, first of all, the first prayer was that it's not a man who's in that car. God is good. It was a lady. So we now park like on the side because it was on the roundabout. I can't get out because I'm in my pom-pom shorts for the gym.
Tiny ass. Literally, they're like...
And
But
you know,
whenever I
men
see
always
them, they
surround
don't
cars.
look- they
They're
don't-
not. They're
Yeah.
appropriate for the gym, but they're definitely not appropriate for
For
these
the
random men in the middle
roundabouts,
of
yeah.
the road. So anyway, that's the first thing I'm now worried about is my safety, because if you guys remember, trigger warning, that Forest Road incident, it changed my life. It changed the way my brain operates. So now as soon as I see the car and there's like men coming to like hover around, you know, I don't know what they come to do an accident. Sometimes
help.
they come to help, maybe. That they're the one who gave me the bumper, so they helped with that because I didn't even know my bumper had been popped off. And then I speak to the lady, I get her number. She's not like frantic, or she's just kind of being nice and whatever. And I go to the gym. I go to work. I had
Where was
a
the
site
bumper?
visit. So they put it in the car.
It's inside the car.
It's now inside the car. So you just drive. I go and I work out. It's not a big deal. I go to the 2 things I have to do for work, and then I start processing.
At this point, she's not even told her best friend that she was literally in a life-threatening
I think I told you like the next day, right?
Yeah.
I'm not okay. I'm not okay.
Imagine, and on that day, the way she was posting on her stories, you wouldn't even know. Because in fact, in the morning she had posted something like, oh, you know, I'm having such a shit show of a day. But when I saw she's continued the day, I was like, oh, probably it's just like a client, you know, made some changes to a video or something like that.
It's not okay. I am not condoning this behavior. I am just saying, because actually when I spoke to my therapist, the first thing I told her was that, like, I think we need to address this. I don't think this is the way I ever want to function, that I didn't think about my mental health. I didn't think to call anybody. And as you can see in my life, it's not that I don't have plenty of people who I should have called immediately. But it's just like, oh, it's not a big deal. Why is it not a big deal? Yeah, so.
And yet, we would like to say, as a content creator, I have freedom of time. I decide my own schedule.
I could have done that brand immersion online. Who am I looking to not disappoint to that degree?
That is the thing.
Who gets disappointed if I don't run my life the way that I do?
Yeah.
Who?
That's the question. What is preventing us from living at ease?
And the worst thing is that my first point of contact suffers from the same disease.
That's the issue. That is the problem.
So it's like, no, so it's like there's who's a check? Who's a check and balance? Guys, pray for us.
So what did the therapist say? Like, is our issue, because that's problematic.
Yeah, well, for sure we had talked about it in another episode where another therapy session where she basically said that, like, we looked at it and we realized that I'm not running towards my potential. I'm running away from not fulfilling it. Because sometimes I envision this lady. I've talked about this before many times. She's that version of Lydia. And she just wakes up. She's somewhere in the countryside. I always assume she's married with kids, but there's no husband or kids I can see. So clearly,
they're at work and at school.
No, that seems like work. She's free. So kids and husband seem like work to her. So anyway, she's like free. She's chilling. She doesn't really care. She's not ambitious. She's not driven. And she was like, "Oh, that sounds really nice and relaxing."
Happy?
So fucking happy.
But that's not me.
There's a version of Lydia. So now my therapist said, let's take what are those elements that you're seeing that we can bring here in Nairobi, because there's a reason why she's in some countryside.
Because there's
I'm
no
like,
way.
In Nairobi, get the fuck out of here, you lazy ass bitch.
This is the thing.
Yeah,
actually, yeah.
That's it. In this city context, what the hell are you doing? Yeah. What do you mean you don't have ambition and drive and you?
Yeah, I know. I completely feel and understand that. Is it that we are tied to being over functioners?
Yeah.
We are tied to, like, the whole day you've only put up one deliverable. Yeah, exactly. So you hate money. Do you even deserve the money that you have? You're going to be poor tomorrow.
So she asked me, what are the things that... So for me, it's not tied to the money, even though the two things dance the same, right? Like the running away from not fulfilling my potential, because it's like money is a measure. It's like, okay, I earned this much. It's one of the measures. So anyway, she said, like, okay, give me the words that are coming up when you think of being that way, but in Nairobi in your life.
Being that calm.
That laissez-faire.
Lazy.
Unworthy. Worthless actually was the word.
We're just lazy. Exactly. Like
yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, so I know for sure that's a bit of an issue. That's actually that concerned me. Because it's not about the people who I have in my life. I have so many people I can lean on, and I didn't think to call anybody.
Right. Yeah. So that day when the life coach said about, like, living a life of ease, and it's like, why don't you? So I called Nelly, because Nelly's the one who always tells me the truth always brutally tells me the truth. Yeah. So I'm like, why do you think? I asked her, would you say I live a life of ease? She just looked at me like,
that
bitch,
look
be
is so
for
painful.
real.
Oh, Nelly.
She was like, be so for real right now. And then I was like, yeah, but Nelly, I have many responsibilities. And Stuart, she's like, no, it's not your responsibilities. It's you overcommit yourself constantly, perpetually. Like, you'll know that you have meetings. You don't have to schedule them all for this one day, but you will schedule them all. And then now you'll be running helter-skelter. Sometimes she's like, you're so busy doing things which you don't know, you don't have to do them. Like, you don't need to leave your house for that. You don't need to whatever. You can take a nap. You can't just watch an episode of something. I'm always like, I don't have time to do X and Y. And she's like, why don't you have time to watch an episode of something? Why don't you have time to read your book? You're the one who has decided.
We decide our schedules, and then we are trapped by them. Yeah. So yeah, there's lots to work on. So for me, I had said already that what I'm trying to work on for this year is to be more paced. And one of those things is like kind of being conscious about the way I am not the way I'm also considering myself in my to-do list. It's like, I can do all of these things, but must I? And my thing with overfunctioning is that you can't ask me if I'm okay. Don't ask me that, because I am. Because I have learned to function with so little. So maybe the way someone will be like, oh, no, I'm not. No, by the time I get to know I'm not okay, something is hanging off. And
then that means that when I meet people who are just like functioning at ordinary, I'm just like, you could do more with your time, that, right? It's like, are you moving fast enough? Are you doing enough? Are there? In fact, sometimes I'm just like, people now, I guess, to me in my head, it's usually like it's a positive thing, because in my head I'm like, the reason I'm extraordinary is because I'm not operating then the way the ordinary people are operating. And if I did, then I would be ordinary just like everyone else. And I think for me, that's one of my biggest fears.
It's your fears to
Exactly.
be
It's like, I don't want to be, there's so many creators, but the reason I'm up there with creators is because I do more. It's because I overfunction, so to speak. And for me, it's like a deep fear of like, if we're all just doing the same, then we'll all just be at the same place.
But the worst thing is that some of the ordinary people are living luxuries apparently ought to be for the extraordinary.
Apparently.
Yeah.
So you're really, just doing the work. You're just
doing the work, and then the people who seem like they're mid are able to go on holidays. They're relaxed. They're not waking up so intense. They're not having like, cortisol shot up their head every single day. It's like, so then you start to think, it's like, what am I measuring as extraordinary? Because me, when I see that paced girl who's got money, she's not over, that's who I envision.
I don't know if I have a version of me like that who I even envision, but maybe that's an exercise that I need to sit and just think of.
I think I go there.
Yeah. Me, I asked her, what if it's just that I like being busy?
And what's wrong with that? Yeah. But
I don't.
You don't. Not even that. You don't have the freedoms that you're saying that you want.
Exactly.
That's the thing.
And I don't think I like being busy as such.
So there's a podcast I listened to, and this guy said, I love working. I married a partner who loves working, and everything to me that feels good is about work. And I'm not going to be shamed for that. I don't want to go to 4 vacations a year. I don't care. What I'm obsessed with is growing my company and like seeing it into fruition. And that's it. And I'm sacrificing my life for that. And I can support that. But is that what you want? Does that feel good to you?
I don't think so. I feel like right now I do it because I want to be able to like sustain a certain level of income and a certain level of, standard of living. I wish that I could be busy, but it not being tied to, or me not feeling like it's tied to directly to my income or my, like potential or purpose or something like that. Because being busy to me is fun. Like I like doing things. I like being active and like I've gone here. But sometimes I just feel like I don't want to be doing things also just for the sake of doing things.
Are we making things up now?
I'm like, now you are so busy in the morning, there's nothing on your to-do list, but it's the end of the day and you're tired and you didn't have time to do the one thing that you were actually supposed to do. Do you know what I mean?
Because
it's like,
you the second you're not, it's like, how do we fill this space?
Yeah.
Like immediately it's like, oh, this day is free. Oh no, I have that thing. So it's never that the day is.
It's never. It's like now the things for next week and like the other week now you've all brought them all here.
So for sure that's something I'm really, really looking into, because who you are is who you pass down to your kids. And those things, they see it. They see mom is, but maybe they'll see that mom is always at home. You never know.
Right.
Maybe they'll be like, no, I want to be like mom. I'm always at home, because they can't conceptualize your work. That bitch is lazy.
Actually, yeah, because I'm always on my bed and just laid down. They don't know that I am literally...
I'm working and what's happening with my mind. But yeah, I want to just be more conscious of those patterns, because you can't unsee them. Because I know for sure I saw them for functioning with my mom.
Right. In fact, I was going to ask you, do you remember your mom at 34 or 35?
My mom doesn't sit down. She doesn't sit down. There is always something.
Even in her stories, we can tell.
There is always a plant to iron. There is always a TV to water. There's always something.
Always.
Yeah, she's working at it, like to like kind of get, but it's still something. And it's not something I'm self-deprecating about. By the way, all of this is more about like being observant, being aware, and seeing what I can do about it. So that's something that's really top of my mind. What else? There's so many things I want to achieve this year that I feel like Q1 hasn't. I don't know why it hasn't allowed me to have the room for like some of the things I've been saying.
Q1 has been intense. Hold my hand, baby.
I feel like I thought I would have so much room to do many things I wanted.
Do you remember even there was a year where your Q1 you were like, I'm even taking a month off. Do you remember that?
Yeah. I can just like, what's point?
Yeah. But also it's us. Because we have allowed that pressure. We allow that every single time. Yes, that is
it's excitement apparently, as opposed to how the fuck are you going to deal with this? Yeah. Anyway, so that's mostly what I'm like. That's what's top of mind. It's still all about like achieving and doing and more and work and stuff.
Okay, can I ask you a touchy question?
Sure.
So I saw the video you made about like childless, child-free, and like people's comments. First of all, I was like, my God, the amount of times I have to stop myself from like commenting on people's comments and being like, stop being dumb.
Why?
Like, because the way you are saying, these are factual definitions.
Yeah.
Lydia has not made them up. Yes.
What does
What
childless mean?
and
what does
is
child-free mean?
Yeah. Then people are bringing out, but in the African context, they will say this in whatever. First of all, I really would love for us to stop this thing of in the African context, because we are also, it's a global.
And by the way, I don't know. I did not know that childless women are referred to women who want kids and they don't. I didn't know that.
Right.
I didn't know that. I literally thought that childless just meant somebody who doesn't
have a child.
Children.
Right. Yeah.
I did not know that. That's why I said, literally, guys, this was just a definition. If you Google it, you will get that context that has stigma around waiting wombs and all of that. That's on your. For me, I was literally just the definition.
Exactly.
Sorry,
but clearly, I mean, even just from that conversation, I was like, this is a really touchy subject for so many women. Are really, really intense, because some people are even defending their right to be a childless woman or a child-free woman, and it's like, whoa, no one is attacking you, no one is saying anything about you.
TikTok and is crazy.
Exactly. Even the concept of being child free in an African society, like you said in that video,
it's
that
really
doesn't even
shaky.
exist. Yeah, exactly. It's really shaking things up. Everyone's like, yeah, don't worry, you're gonna want kids. What if they just don't actually? So my question to you is like, do you feel like as you turn a year older, does that in any way make you feel like another year that I don't have a child?
Not at all. Not at all. Let me tell you, I think I told you this the other day. There is no one I've ever been with, no partner who I should have had children with. So, you know, there's like people who regret, like, oh yeah, there's this partner, maybe I should have had. No. And for the goodness and the health of the children who I would like, the life I envision for them, there's no partner who I feel like that would have been a partner to parent with. So sometimes more of my no-ness about it is more of never aligned with a partner who I felt we could have had kids with, but not that I should have a kid.
Right.
In fact, the longer time goes, the more, you know, such as I feel like my mom would feel so sad if I didn't have kids.
Right. Yeah.
But the more I think about it, the more
it doesn't seem
like such a doomed world
if
I didn't have kids. No,
because you have such a beautiful life now, and I think that's a really great thing. I feel like that to me, I feel like it's a great thing that you're able to model that someone's life can be full and rich and happy and exciting, and it doesn't always have to be that you had kids.
It doesn't. When I think about the reality, sometimes it's just like, if you don't have kids, like when I think about like if I get to that point, like, and maybe I do wake up and it's not so fun anymore. You know, it's not this part of just like, I just feel so free. And then I wake up and it more feels like...
But that hasn't happened.
No, it hasn't. It hasn't happened. But what if, you know, it's like, you can't know, like now how we're saying, if you decide to tie your tubes and then you wake up and it's
one
just
day
like,
and it's like,
oh my God!
Yeah.
So it's like, what if I get to the, oh my God?
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't have kids and it's like, horrible and sad and painful.
But you can only make the decision for the Lydia who is here now.
Yeah.
That's it. And I can only make the decision for the Maria who's here now.
I am just not... It's got to be the right partner.
Yeah.
It's got to be. I'm sorry, y'all.
Yeah.
It's got to be the right partner.
So just be in prayer, guys. Or even like,
just
you know,
the right partners. And maybe if it's not the right partner, it's like, I'll continue to model what life is like as childless. Because me, I'm never going to say I don't want kids, because let me actually say the definition. Childless is someone who doesn't have children, whereas child-free is somebody who has decided they don't want kids. That's their life. They've made that choice. That's never going to be me. So for me, I feel like I will always be a childless woman, and the things have not been put together, or for me anyway, to have children.
Right. So anyone over the age of 18 who wants kids but doesn't have kids is childless.
That's what I would say. Like if you are, I mean, out of those two definitions, that's where you fall. Yeah. But someone now said about the African context is that you would say somebody who doesn't have children. as opposed
Yeah,
to
who's just
childless,
childless.
because the African context stigmatizes that word, and it's actually referring to
It's like
women.
you should have
But
children,
I
but you
think
don't
if
have.
everyone who doesn't have kids just says they're childless, the stigma's gone. It doesn't highlight this thing with women who are waiting to have kids. I don't even understand why anybody would use that word to define someone who wants kids and doesn't have them. I think that's insane. You should not use that word. That's crazy.
What I find insane is the fact that the word childless is only ever used in reference to a woman.
Of
I ain't never heard childless man.
Oh,
I've never had anyone referring to someone as a
because
childless
it's
man.
always assumed that the reason why people don't have children is a woman.
Yeah, that's just like that's
insane.
damn.
Yeah, that's a bit of a problem.
It is a bit of a
But
problem.
that's how people do it. But me, I stigma thing, I didn't know, and I don't think I would ever use that word, like, as far as somebody who's waiting or wanting to have children but they can't, or they're not able to yet. I would never use that. So for me, I confidently say I'm a childless woman. I don't understand.
I feel like maybe it's the more, if we use it more, it can be destigmatized.
That's what I feel.
Yeah.
I feel like saying that
Let's
no,
just
don't
say-
use it in this African context because it has this
No.
means that it's continuing to be used to
That's the thing.
stigmatize.
No, let's just say it as it is.
Yeah.
Even though now it just feels like you're defining somebody by what they don't have as opposed to like what they do have.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Or like a decision they've made.
And it's literally that conversation wasn't like that's what you should continue go around telling
it's
women.
just- yeah.
It's like in the two definitions, because I see people saying they're child free,
Yeah.
but I know for sure what they mean is that they're childless.
Yeah.
So that's actually why I use that definition, is because people are kind of using it interchangeably and they don't mean the same thing. That was actually exactly
Right.
what I said in the video.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
go around branding people what they are and what they're not. What someone wants to use as far as what it defines them, as long as they're defining it correctly. Because I see now someone going to a date saying, I'm child free. But what you mean
I'm
is
free of kids.
you do not have children. And this is probably a
Yeah.
man who's looking to marry you and give you kids.
But the man
and now
can
you
then
guys
also
are,
then know what child free is.
you're now at par.
Yeah.
Because you have misused a word. That was
Right.
really the point of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, sometimes I do feel like I could live like this forever. I could.
Yeah.
I could. But then sometimes I'm just like, is it just because it's the high right now?
Right.
The newness
Yeah.
of something.
Do you feel like if you get to a certain age and you're not married, you would consider adopting? Or
I
like
don't think
freezing
so.
your eggs?
I
and
don't think I
going
would
to
I
do-
would choose to be a single mom. I don't think so.
It's tough.
I don't think so. That does not look like something that
When you see
I'm
Lydia in
going
the
to
countryside.
choose. Lady in the countryside, because I see chickens. Lady in the countryside.
There's chickens and there's no husband and kids.
No. There's an assumed husband and kids,
Oh,
but
okay.
I never see them because I know when they're around, she's
You're
not
not
chilling.
Because you know me. Because you
Oh,
know me.
and you know what? You might be adding to this.
I'm sorry.
That the
I'm
idea
never
of husband
talking
and
to you
kids is
about
just
kids.
so intense. Anyway, lady
yeah.
in the countryside. Lady in the countryside. There's chickens. She
Yeah.
lives in a small house. I can't see inside. All I see is like for those who have seen my Instagram, the way my shows looks like.
Yeah.
It's like that. And she comes outside and she picks the clothes from the line. That's all she ever does in my dream.
Wow. Does
That's
she have
what
a
she
house help,
does.
I wonder?
She doesn't seem like she has a house help. She looks like she's
Lives
around
alone.
people.
Yeah.
She looks like she lives alone.
Yeah, maybe if she has kids, they're probably like grown, and like they live in another country and they just call her every week to check on her and tell her they
No.
love her.
It doesn't seem that way.
Oh, jeez.
She seems like really free of
All responsibilities and yeah.
and there's no way you have too many intimate relationships without responsibility.
Right. Sometimes I ask myself, like some of the things that we dream about, like, oh, this is, if I was here, this would be so nice. But you know how, like, whenever you're thinking about something, you only romanticize what it would be like to be there. You don't
For
really,
sure.
yeah, you'd never think about, like, oh, if there could be
At
this
hour
and this.
2, this chicken is annoying. Why
Now
am I
it's
here?
like, why have you been
But no, this
clucking?
version of me.
That one, of course, yeah. By the way, guys, let us know if we should do an episode on like child free,
We
childless.
should.
I definitely
and we know
feel
the
like
guests we should bring.
who?
What's it? The child free African. Have you gone on that
Is
page?
she Kenyan?
If you're owner of Grace Cup.
Oh,
If you want
yeah.
to be shaken to your core, go there. And I don't mean to project, or like maybe this is not how she's meaning to come off, but I think she may be like anti-children, not just child-free. I think she might be anti-children. And sometimes the way she talks about mothering is like, I don't know. I don't think that's what I'm seeing.
Okay, well then that's good then that she would be there, because I feel like I would probably be the opposite, and then you can be like the balanced voice in
the one who wants but doesn't.
Yeah.
And then there's the one who doesn't.
Yeah.
And then the one who has.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people who are child free end up being that way, even if
Because
they don't
they're
intend to, because you're constantly, and it's such a radically different viewpoint from like what it always has been, of like women can get to choose that they don't want to have kids. People can actually live a fun, healthy, happy, fulfilled life without kids. And because of that, it's like automatically combative, even if they don't intend for it to be combative.
I find so interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
but that would be an interesting conversation. Pin in that one for a topic idea, Brie and Nance.
Yeah. So if I could plan out my life, I would be pregnant next year.
Not this year. I feel like we've been saying next year for long,
35.
No. Geriatric.
Yeah. First of all, that's not the word. It's
geriatric.
No, it's not. They don't use that anymore for obvious reasons.
What is the obvious reasons?
Something like advanced age pregnancy. Ebu, someone tell us.
Let me see. Yeah.
It's advanced or?
Yeah. Okay, it's just telling me geriatric. It's an outdated term. Okay, so they've said it's outdated term for pregnancies in people who are 35 or older. Advanced maternal age pregnancy.
Yeah. AMA.
But why is geriatric Nini?
Do you need an explanation as why is that geriatric?
Maybe I'm the one who didn't understand what the word means.
Geriatric means someone who's really old, really like on their last. Yeah. So I can see why that would, because now if you keep telling women that that's it, you're keeping women feeling afraid of like not getting to that. But really, you should have kids when you're ready, not when you're being told you must.
I don't know how much better advanced maternal age sounds to me.
It's definitely way better.
Really?
For sure, yeah. Anyway. And all the complications that come with that is like you don't want women feeling like that stress with age. It's about the woman's age, and already there's too much about that, about women's age. Yeah. But yeah, no, I don't mind. Whenever it's going to come, the things just need to be right. And I know people are just like, am I chasing a fantasy? I don't know. By the way, my therapist asked me, okay, I don't know how, okay. My therapist asked me, what would it be like to experience this? You know what I'm referring to? Without the fantasy, just experiencing it, not looking at it through the lenses of a fantasy.
It would be very different.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
Also.
Let me say it in the context of Dora, because Dora right now is like, she's dating. She's been on Bumble, although every other week it's like this week she's downloaded it, next week she's deleted, next week she's downloaded, next week she's deleted. Like,
oh baby.
Yeah, last year I think she had like 10 or 15 talking stages that didn't go far. So it's always up and down like this. One day she'll be like, guys, I've found my husband.
I think that's the problem.
That's the issue, yeah. So a week later, she's like, no, guys, so, kind of thing. So if I'm within her context, sometimes we're just like, try not to think about him as like my husband or like he could be whatever. But she's like, she feels like now because she's 30 and she like, to her, it's like, obviously the person I date now, I don't want it to be someone who it's like, I couldn't see you as my husband. Yeah. So it's difficult for you to remove that from your mind. The fantasy of what you want, or like, the kids you're gonna have or whatever, it's difficult to remove that from and just like be here and just experience this. She's trying. We're trying to get her to, but
my therapist, the way my therapist shook it out of me was telling me, you are dreaming of a life you have no idea what the day-to-day looks like.
And that's what I was referring to.
And there's a woman who, like, she made this video. She went viral. Of course, it was very controversial. I don't understand why. She said that one of her biggest dreams was always to be a mom. She dreamt about it day in, day out. And then she found the perfect partner. The dream partner. And they had their little girl. And she adores that little girl. Her bread and butter, it's her beginning and she's her beginning and end. But she's like, what an injustice to have made that her dream, because she has no idea what that is. You can dream of a car because you've been in one. So what you're going to escalate is just like this. But motherhood has no check, has no trial. So making that her dream, number one, it broke her heart in that it's not that. It never fulfilled what she dreamt of because of the day in and the day out of what it actually is. So she's like, the fantasy you're dreaming of and making your life not feel good about is one you can't conceptualize. And you're gonna rush this bit where you have all of these freedoms you could do way more with until they get there. And then you're gonna get there and you're gonna be like, what the fuck have I done?
Right?
What the hell have I done? And that shook it out of me. So it's not about not desiring it. I have the desire for sure, but it's also not about putting it on a pedestal.
Exactly.
Because when you put it on a pedestal, what do? You set it up for failure.
That's so true. And I think that's what I was referring to when I said that we romanticize the thing that you don't have, like the thing that you want. You're just like, I know once I get there, now I'll be happy. Now everything will be fine. Everything will be perfect and whatever. But you don't know.
Yeah. And things have aligned a bit better for me when that's not an obsession. When literally when somebody mentions like, oh yeah, like when we have kids, like think.
Oh yeah.
Think. You know, like, because I've put it out of the pedestal because I'm very clear about the responsibility. And it's not like you can't daydream. Daydream is like so cute to imagine, but that cannot be your driving force around the decisions you're making over your life right now.
It's
Don't
so
do
true.
It. Don't
and
do
you know,
it.
it's a similar thing with weight loss. Weight loss is the same. When you overfixate on it, you end up not getting it. But when you allow, it's like, yeah, I really would love that. But if you're putting your life on pause now, so that like, oh, I'll do this once I've lost weight, I'll do this once, whatever. And when I lose weight now, my life is going to be perfect. It's going to be this. There are many challenges you'll encounter there, even in that weight loss stage that you don't know right now, right? And if you're putting everything on pause for only to enjoy at that time, you end up there and it's like, now you've lost the years that you could have been enjoying all of this. Maybe the opportunities you had when you were bigger, you don't have them anymore. Like there's so many things in between there that you have, that you're missing. And it's about those years in between.
100%. So that's how I would like to shake it out of someone. Is like you're daydreaming of like something you haven't conceptualized. And I'm not referring to people who are looking to conceive and are struggling. This is a different conversation. I am referring to the young women who right now are trying to rush their single life or their unmarried life because you're thinking of like, what next? Relax.
Yeah, I actually went on a page of someone, a babe who was saying on her story, I don't even know how I think it was on my Explore, but she was saying how she realizes she never posts on Instagram except when she's in a relationship.
What the hell?
So she only finds, and she was like, oh, I don't, you see how some posts say, like, in fact, this is how she said her story. You know how posts say they only post when they are traveling? Me, I can only post when I'm in a relationship. I can only post on social media when I'm in a relationship. And she laughed. And she was like, yeah, somehow it's just like, that's when she feels her most feminine, her happiest, her most, at peace, when she's being loved on, because like her content will be about like being bought for this, being bought for that. I was like, that was very problematic, and like, but I didn't even DM or anything. I was just like, damn.
Yeah, like I feel like that's your for sure. But I can't imagine that a relationship feels great when it has that much intensity in it.
Exactly, that much pressure.
Doesn't. Yeah.
Oh, anyway, I feel like at least the age that we are growing up in is a lot better than, let's say, where our parents were, because like a mid-30s woman would not be comfortably living the way you're living. A mid-30s woman then, it would be like, but right now people are getting married a lot later. People are even getting married in their 40s, people are getting married in their 50s. Like
the more conscious we get, the more awake we are to, we have choice. And actually I saw someone saying that I am the first of my generation to have the choice to live this way.
Come on.
And so me living this way in itself, I'm honoring all the women who didn't have a choice, but they've got to be married and had kids by this point. It's just like what you do. And coming from the fact that the last generation, my parents' generation, that was like a really tough marriage, right? It was like, it's the exercising my choice to live this way is something I've got to really thank God for. It's a freedom not many people have. And here's the thing, I don't also want women to feel like you have to feel like you're happy when you're single and you're not. You don't have to be, because if it's miserable, it's miserable, but address why it's miserable. Because if it's miserable because you don't feel like your life is worth any meaning when you don't have children or a husband or a boyfriend, you've got to address that for sure. But then the pressure comes, like I see too much of it being like, it doesn't have to be that either. It can just be, I'm just living my life.
And it can be cyclical too. It's like some days you can wake up and be like, oh my God, it would be really nice if I had a man and you just come and exactly. And other nights can be like, I got this, like Miss Independent. And it's like, even in marriage, it's like that. It's like, it's not every day you just wake up, wow, I'm just so grateful to be married. Even as a mom, some days it's like that. It's like some days you're so super grateful for your children. Other days you're just like, I'm so tired and overwhelmed and I, kind of thing. And it's like, I guess that's just life. Yeah. Sometimes when I think about my final reflections, we didn't even get into it.
Let's just call this birthday
the
reflection. We were supposed
to. No, these ones will be now for the next one. Guys, this one was not supposed to be our episode. We had something else planned.
But who knew we had so much to say?
Actually, turning. I was just waiting for someone to ask me. I feel like the more consciousness I get as I grow older, the more I'm just like so happy to be me and to be living this life. And that's one of the reasons why I wouldn't want to be younger. And one of the reasons why I'm appreciating getting older. Because there's more just like openness. There's more, okay, I don't really care what that person has to say because me, I know, less panic. And everything is just kind of like, no, I have choice. I can decide. I am, I am me. I'm more comfortable. I'm more set in who I am. I'm less susceptible to, people pleasing even, less susceptible to like, being moved and shaken when someone doesn't agree with me or when someone says something unkind or whatever. I have more compassion, I would say, for people and more empathy because the more I gain that consciousness, the more I realize how many people go through life without it at all.
Yeah. And also when you realize how many people have patience for your drama and your intensity and all of that, then you're like, oh, maybe
I'm
it would be nice
exactly.
to be more patient and more compassionate.
I learn more and more to just like see life from the lens of like people have grown up differently, people have different traumas, people have different whatever, so they're being mean to you, but really it's their own self. You just don't have the tools to be able to deal with how you're feeling inside, and that has nothing to do with me.
So fucking annoying,
right? It must be.
It must be so aggravating.
Yeah, it really must
to
be
have
crazy.
made a choice maybe that you thought you were so confident in, and you realize you didn't want to make that choice at all. But now you're trapped within like these confines of your life, and how dare somebody else live in a completely different way?
Exactly. I can see how that is problematic.
It can't be to anyone.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward to being 35. How old are you? 35. Ask me.
How old are you?
I'm 35.
Damn.
Fuck you. How old are you, Lydia?
34.
You're in your mid-30s?
I am.
Wow. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
You don't look a day over 26.
I don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't,
yeah.
Also, there are pluses.
There are pluses.
There are pluses to life.
There are, indeed.
I guess this episode will be called Birthday Reflections.
Birthday reflections, indeed.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize
what do
I had
for your
these kinds
birthday?
of reflections.
Me too.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Right?
Yeah.
I actually don't know.
Oh, you don't know?
No.
I thought you were traveling.
No. I'm traveling the weekend after for our anniversary.
Oh dear, they come together at the same time.
No, not the weekend after. The weekend after that. The one
like
which is
some
like 15,
space.
16. Yeah, the weekend after your picnic.
He got you. Plan it in March so it just all blurs.
It's all just like so many different things, yeah. But I probably want something low-key. Maybe I'll do like a family lunch or something like that.
For 35.
Yeah.
My mom believes, first of all, my mom believes like only big birthdays have to be celebrated. We're working through that because you don't know when your next one is going to be.
Or
but mine is the one who practiced. All our birthdays were big. I think my 11th, a random birthday was just so great. But then for her, she sees big ones.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. No, in fact,
but
if anything, I'm just thinking about less. Like I want, less.
Rest.
I just want to maybe be by myself. The things that we don't do on a day-to-day basis, like just like being on your own and maybe doing maybe I'll go to that place, the
gift I gave you for Christmas.
Yeah, which is a 6 months thing. So I have 6 months.
It is already?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. I didn't even know how long it was expiring.
It's 6 months, yeah. So maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll go and have like my favorite meal. Like that, the thought of that's what makes me happy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
As opposed to like the overwhelm of like being with lots of people on that day. Yeah.
Well, mine is going to be lots of people.
I can't wait.
Yes, I am having
I love that.
All my friends, all my family gathering together.
Lydia's birthday is on a Monday. Who's
on a Monday? I'm not gonna do that. Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, and that weekend, it's your Nini.
Oh yeah, my master class.
Also, for your master class, see I'll come.
Come where?
See I'll join.
Will you?
Yeah.
Join my master class?
Yes, because me, it doesn't count if like you said, you didn't want somebody so you can ask everyone and you can cater to everyone. But me, I'll just come and I'll be the silent person.
Did you buy a ticket?
I'm paying. But I mean,
It's
you
too
let
late.
me.
We are sold
No,
out.
for sure. No,
sorry.
you will.
Unfortunately, we are
She
sold
will.
out.
So there's Joe's.
Also, I don't think you can because you're at Youth Plus that morning.
No, Youth Plus, I'll be on. Yours is Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm actually speaking on Friday. I will be there on Saturday as well.
Right.
But yeah.
But why do you want to join? This is information you know.
Yeah, I know. But why not? How do I know what I'll learn?
Oh, right. Yeah, you don't know.
you never
Actually, you don't know. Yeah, fine.
So, because it's sold out in a week. So
Yeah.
it's like, obviously, like now I'll have like either even sponsored someone or something, but now it's sold out.
It is,
So
yeah.
it's like, just let me
I
join.
know.
So I'll join.
Fine,
So then there's like that weekend of whatever, and then there's Monday, which is my birthday.
Yeah.
That one I don't want too much of anything, but then Saturday.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. Yeah. Is alcohol allowed at shushus?
Secretly. Yeah. And
We are not
minimally
really
also
trying
because
in
like
that
kids are there
lifestyle.
as
Yeah.
well. It's like,
it's fun drinking around kids. Don't quote me. Don't quote me, but it's true.
what?
Yeah.
Why?
But it's not like kids don't know that you're drinking. It's not like, oh, you're
Yeah, but
here
why is
drinking
it
alcohol.
fun doing it around
Because
them?
it just makes the whole like situation just more
Oh, you're
fun
not
and
as
manageable.
annoyed.
Exactly. It's just like, oh yeah, do whatever you want. Yeah. So I support that.
I feel like that should definitely be one of the snippets.
Yeah.
Editor.
No way.
That's it. That's
Done.
the clip.
Everyone.
Go and watch. Go and watch now.
Anyway, happy birthday, my friend.
Happy birthday, darling.
I'm so happy to spend another birthday with you.
Yeah, and I love that you come a year older. I have an older sister.
Yeah,
Yeah, you are my older sister.
you're older, larger, taller. I am taller
You're
slightly
not.
than her.
No,
yeah,
I'm
kinda
taller.
a
The
bit,
younger one is
kinda,
always
sort of,
taller, you
sort
know.
Of, yeah, oh yeah.
The younger one
right,
is
yeah.
always taller.
Also, Ag is taller. Well, yeah, she's
She
definitely
is
taller than you.
Yeah, so the younger one is always taller.
Anyway, leave us
Yeah.
your happy birthday messages, guys, in the
Please
in the
do, 'cause
comments.
that's
We'd
been-
be so happy.
But this
about that.
one, I feel like it wasn't. But I think this is the honesty of your 30s.
I think so.
You're just being able to sit down and be like, this is
And
what is
truly
difficult,
reflect.
and this is
Yeah.
like what I'm really still trying to figure out, and I'm not sure about this,
Yeah.
and still loving
and also
your
be
life.
like, these are the positives. I'm happy about X and Y and Z.
Yeah.
And that's amazing.
Gosh.
Love that for us.
Let's
baby
see
girl.
what 34 brings, guys. I'm excited because
yeah.
33, I loved
Yeah.
you.
Now we are truly your older, larger sisters. Yeah,
Seriously.
exactly.
But we're also told there's people who are older than us. So
Actually,
we should
by
not
the
always
way,
be
there
saying
are.
that. Yeah, so
Yeah,
we
we
welcome
never
people who
know.
are also older. Yeah. Teach us
exactly.
a thing or two. What
Thank
is the
you.
mid 30s like? What are the late 30s like? Tell us, guys. Do we
yeah.
have more to look forward to? Or does
40s.
it get doom and gloom
Yeah.
after here?
From the people in their 40s who I follow on social media, 40s looks like it's fun.
and they are like, fuck you.
They are doing
I don't give
whatever.
a fuck about this.
It's
I
like
do-
us, but a lot more confident. It's like, I'm like, they're
It
having
gets
fun.
better. It
And I
gets
think they're
better.
even having the best sex.
I think so, for sure.
They are.
Uninhibited.
Oh, they're doing whatever the fuck they want. That's it.
Lots
Thank
to
you.
look forward to.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this episode. We love you so much. Now, what we had pangared for this one, come to the next one, so
That's
you can
the one
now
we're going-
watch.
No, not
that.
the next one.
Oh, then no, the
one
next one. See you guys in our next one.
See you.
Bye.